What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. So yeah, I want to talk about this situation with Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, and Matchroom, and this situation going on as far as it goes with Deontay Wilder. We get a lot of false information being put out there about, a lot of different channels. They put out false information and keep the narrative going because, they fans of Anthony Joshua, fans of their countrymen, rightfully so, and I understand, but when people saying that Deontay Wilder's pricing himself out of the fight, and he's asking for 50-50, and he really doesn't want to fight, and he thinks he should get this, he should get that, this person don't want Deontay Wilder's team, he really don't want the fight, they just blowing smoke, and all of that mumbo jumbo nonsense, what I'm saying? As Show Enough would say, all that mumbo jumbo. That's all that is. What I'm saying? Because everybody is afraid that Deontay Wilder is going to knock Anthony Joshua out on that side. Anthony Joshua, don't get me wrong, man. He's legit. He's definitely legit. I'm definitely a fan of Anthony Joshua, but I just don't like, when it does the sport of boxing a disservice when you spewing lies, when you coming on saying that, Deontay Wilder's pricing himself out, they offered him $10 million, he turned it down, he asked for 50-50, he wants the fight to be in the States, not in the UK, all of that is nonsense, man. All of that is lies. That's what it is. That's the bottom line. It's lies. Deontay Wilder wants to fight with Anthony Joshua. He wants to fight next. He wanted the fight to be next after the Bermane-Stiverne fight, before Anthony Joshua signed to take the Joseph Parker fight. He said he's willing to come over to the UK. He actually was at one of Joshua's fights, and they didn't even acknowledge him in the UK when he was ringside at one of Joshua's fights. Deontay Wilder was ringside. Anthony Joshua, nor Eddie Hearn, nor anybody else, as far as that matter goes, as far as the media over there, nobody acknowledged Deontay Wilder, who was sitting ringside for the fight. So to say that he don't want the fight is really absurd, And now, like I said before in one of my videos, go check out my videos, do your homework. I said this before. When Alexander Povetkin was made the mandatory for Anthony Joshua's title, I said that the next fight for Anthony Joshua, barring he gets past Joseph Parker, the next fight for Anthony Joshua is going to be Alexander Povetkin. I told you guys that. I told you guys that. I told you guys that. And it's not a shock. The next you see, so Alexander Povetkin came out and said, as far as he knows, that his team have signed to fight Anthony Joshua next. If he gets past his next opponent and Anthony Joshua gets past Joseph Parker. I told you that Joseph Parker has a rematch clause. He even picked up the lawyer that Vladimir Klitschko had to to force the rematch with Anthony Joshua should he lose. So I told you guys before, Anthony Joshua will probably rematch Joseph Parker, and then his next fight, they're going to say, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are going to say that they have to get rid of their mandatory. They have to acknowledge their mandatory. They have to take on the fight with Alexander Povetkin, and then the fight with Deontay Wilder, forcing the fight with Deontay Wilder to take place in 2019, thus giving the fans a reason to say Deontay Wilder after he knocks out, saying that, I'm not 100% sure, but let's say that Deontay Wilder knocks out Luis Ortiz, because he got a tough task himself, March 3rd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I will be there. I will be covering that fight, saying that he gets past Luis Ortiz. Now where does he stand? Deontay Wilder, Dominic Brazil is a mandatory for Deontay Wilder, so maybe he'll have to take on Dominic Brazil next, and then it's gonna give fans an out. It's gonna give Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, and Matchroom an out, a way to say that, listen, something, Deontay Wilder should take on Dillian Whyte. They've been trying to force feed us Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder forever and a day. Since Deontay Wilder's been calling out Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn and his team, Joshua's team, has been force feeding Dillian Whyte on us for Deontay Wilder to fight as an opponent. So if Anthony Joshua takes on Joseph Parker, that's one fight. He's only going to fight at the max 3 times this year. So if he takes on Joseph Parker, that's one fight. And if he has a rematch with Joseph Parker, that's the fight number 2. And then he has a mandatory with Alexander Povetkin, that's fight number 3. Thus, we won't get the Deontay Wilder fight till 2019. So please, all you media outlets out there that's saying Deontay Wilder is ducking the fight, please stop spewing nonsense. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You don't want to see, you're a fan of Anthony Joshua, you're afraid that Deontay Wilder is going to knock him out and starch him, and you don't want that. Just be honest with yourself. That's it. There's too much delusion in the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing don't need no more delusional people. This is new media. We're trying to push out old media. So let's tell the truth. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you're a fanboy, you're a fan of Anthony Joshua, you don't want to see him fight Deontay Wilder because it's an uphill battle. So you, in return, you get these channels and these networks and these media outlets saying that Deontay Wilder's priced himself out. He's afraid. He really doesn't want to fight. He's using Joshua as a promotional tool, so on and so on, etc., etc. That's not true. Deontay Wilder wasn't offered $10 million. He said it himself. His manager came out and said they weren't offered $10 million. He didn't. He said he wanted 50-50 for the fight, but he's willing to come down. He said the money is in the States, but he'll fight Anthony Joshua in his backyard in the UK if need be. So please, people, stop saying that he's afraid and he's trying to create roadblocks so the fight never happens. When in return, it's really Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, and the team that's stopping this fight from happening. So Alexander Povetkin, I don't know how in the world they take Luis Ortiz off the list because he was ranked number 2 for that title. So now you take Luis Ortiz off the list because of him using banned substance, but you put Alexander Povetkin, who's known and been busted multiple times for banned substances. Now he's the mandatory for Anthony Joshua instead of Luis Ortiz. I don't know what's going on, but that's definitely some funny business. Definitely fishy. It's impossible. Why would you replace one guy who was caught cheating with a guy who was caught cheating multiple times? You saying that you're not going to promote Luis Ortiz because he was caught cheating, but you replace him with a guy who was caught cheating multiple times? Makes no sense. So we know what it is. So now that forced Alexander Povetkin to be Joshua's mandatory. Alexander Povetkin is not going to take step aside money for the Deontay Wilder fight, even though unification bouts take precedent over mandatories. But we already know what it is. Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are going to act like they have to take care of that mandatory before they could deal with Deontay Wilder. And then they're going to say, how about we have Deontay Wilder fight Dylan White? And in the first quarter of 2019, we get Wilder versus Joshua. We already know what it is. It's already laid out. So we see what it is. This is not hard. This is not Chinese arithmetic. It's not hard to put together. It's not hard to see. So that's all I got for y'all right now on this topic. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure y'all hit that bell icon to get all new notification. That's all I got for y'all. Holla at your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. Peace.